This happened 5 years ago when I was 15 years old. I was hosting a sleepover during the winter holidays. The weather that day was rainy and thunder was clashing louder than usual. I invited 5 of my closest friends over: Kai, John, Nick, Robin, and Marcus. We had all known each other since we were kids. Robin's uncle Blake also came over to keep an eye on us since my parents were away on vacation. They would not be back for a few days. My 2 bulldogs were with me too. Blake was a funny and easygoing guy, but he was no joke. He trained in professional martial arts and even coached MMA fighters. Everyone arrived that afternoon. I don't remember the exact time, but it was already pretty dark outside. The weather was classic winter with heavy rain and low skies. Blake ordered everyone pizza, and we decided to watch a scary movie. Honestly, it felt like the perfect night for it. The stormy weather set the mood. Halfway through the movie, the doorbell rang. We figured it was the pizza guy, and Blake went to get it. He looked through the peephole and saw the delivery man. He was about 6 foot tall and had a strange, unsettling expression. Blake said the guy gave him a bad feeling right away. He opened the door and the man handed him the pizza. There were no words, just this long, creepy smile. Blake paid and shut the door quickly. Later he told us it was one of the most awkward moments of his life. He just stood there while this guy silently grinned at him. Something about him felt wrong. Still, we brushed it off and continued watching the movie. By the time it ended, it was close to midnight. We all decided to sleep in the same room. It was the large guest room upstairs. Everyone brought their own sleeping bags. I slept on the bed, and so did Nick. The others set up around us on the floor. Blake stayed downstairs, watching his favorite Netflix series on the couch. We stayed up talking for about 30 minutes before finally falling asleep. Then, a shrug on my shoulder. Nick was trying to wake me. His face looked worried. He whispered, "Did you hear that?" There was a knock coming from the window. At first, I thought it was thunder, but then he leaned in and said, "I think someone's trying to get in." My heart started racing. We stared at the window, frozen. The knocking stopped. Then a dark figure appeared right at the glass. They were wearing a black or gray hoodie. I could not make out the face, just a shape, a shadow, but it was close, too close. Adrenaline kicked in. I jumped out of bed and ran to the window. I locked it fast, just as the figure tried to lift it open. That was when I saw it, a crooked white tooth twisted into a vicious smile, but I still could not get a clear look at the rest of the face. I bolted back across the room and shook everyone awake. Then came the knocking again, louder, meaner. He started yelling something, but the words did not make any sense. It was like my brain could not process them. We ran straight downstairs to wake up Blake. Blake did not hesitate. He grabbed my 2 bulldogs and headed outside. We followed behind him. What we saw was disturbing. There was a ladder leaning against the side of the house. It was positioned right below the bedroom window. The knocking sound had been the ladder tapping against the wall as the man climbed. Blake spotted muddy footprints leading to the backyard. He ran that way. That was when we saw him. The man was crouched under a garden bush trying to hide. Blake charged at him, with the dogs barking beside him. The dogs lunged and bit into the man's hoodie, and Blake punched him hard and fast.
"Call the police!"
he yelled. We did. It took them a while to arrive because of the storm. When they finally got there, they arrested the man. Then came the part that still haunts me. The officers told us this was not the first time he had done something like this. And Blake? He swore it was the same guy who delivered our pizza earlier that night. Since then, I have never let my guard down, and my dogs, they sleep in my room now, every single night.